Everybody, welcome back. It's Mo again. Well, in this section, we're going to be looking at is how to configure an interface on a router because we need to prepare for additional labs, and you'll see why. Let me close this out. Let me open a new one. So if I want to open a new one, if I wanted to save this, I could do File, Save As, and just put it on my actual desktop as you see with a name. I want to go ahead and just open a new one. So this time I'm going to get myself a router, a 1941 router. All right. Let me increase the size and I need to get myself a switch. Remember, the switch is really for your local area network. That's where your endpoint devices connect PCs, desktops, laptops, servers, your IP phones, your access points, your actual what cameras, printers, everything connects there. All right. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a few computers, a few laptops. One, two, three, four. Here's my router. Little by little, as you see, the topology is expanding. All right. So I'm going to be putting cables. Right. So from here to here, I'm going to say fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. It doesn't matter which ports we use. We're not really manipulating anything on the switch. And port three to port three and port four. Now check this out. From the router has two interfaces. One should go internally and one should go externally. So I'm going to choose gigabit 00, 2 gigabit 01 on the switch. So I get an actual 1 gigabit per second right over here. Did you notice something? The router interfaces are always down. The switch interfaces are actually what? Always up. I could fast forward, as you see, and we'll see this is something to do with switches called STP, Spanning Tree Protocol. But the router interface is down. So I'm going to go to the router, CLI. Let me just do a few basic commands over here. So first of all, I'm going to change my router name to R1, right? Enable secret Cisco, just this, or as you see, just the host name and the actual what password. If I want to do Control C, I go back to privilege mode. I like to do this command: show IP interface brief, so I could see all the interfaces. So I have gigabit 00 and I have gigabit 01. I could say show interface gigabit 0/0. Or I could say gigabit, hit the tab key and do 0/0 and look at the interface. You see, it says it's administratively down and the line protocol is also down. All right. Look at this. It's full duplex. That means it's running at what? Sending and receiving at the same time as you see. Look at the bandwidth, which means I'm getting actually what? 1 gigabit per a second. So the first thing I want to do is global configuration mode. And then I want to get into interface mode. So first I have to be in global config. Then I could say interface int gigabit 0/0. Then enter. See, the first thing I like to do is what is the name of the interface? So when I log into it, I could see the interface itself. The first thing that I do on an interface, I have to turn it on. And if I want to turn an interface on, I do the no shut command. No shutdown turns the interface on. So now the interface is actually up. Can I do show IP interface brief over here? No, I could do arrow and do control A and do the command, do show IP interface brief, and it tells me now the status is up, protocol is actually up. Well, my next step is to configure an IP address on the interface. Let me ask for help. Is there an IP command? Yes, there is. Control Z, IP space question mark, and I could say address. See that? Address and then question mark. Am I putting a static IP or dynamic from a DHCP server? Now remember, router interfaces, I don't want the IP of the router to change because that's going to be the default gateway for my clients. So I'm going to say IP address. I'm going to put a number 192.168.100.254 space question mark. And then the subnet mask 255.255.255.0 space question mark. I see carriage return. That means I could press enter. See that? There you go. So no shut displays that, okay, this interface is going to be up. Now I set up an IP address. My next step, I like to put an actual description. I want to say, ask for help. Is there a description? Yes, there is. Control V gets rid of the help. Description, I could say, for example, this connects to my internal, see that, or to my let's say LAN. All right, then press enter. Okay, well, I did a lot of changes. Why not do the WR? Remember, I cannot do WR over here because WR has to be from privilege mode. So if I'm in a different mode, I use the do command. Do space WR and press enter as you see over here. So do WR is the command that I need to actually do. Then control Z and I could do show running config, and show start is the same because I saved everything to my NVRAM. See, I didn't touch the duplex. I did not touch the speed. I could see my description and I could see my IP address. Another good one is show IP interface brief. You always want to run this command. And it tells you method is manual. It doesn't say NVRAM because I never reloaded the actual router. If I do show interfaces, I could see all the interfaces in general. You see this? All of them. But if I want to focus on one, I do show interface gigabit 0/0. And I could see this interface that it's up and line protocol is also as you see. If I wanted to change the duplex, watch this interface gigabit 0/0, and let me ask for help. I could go ahead and change the duplex, and I could go ahead and change the what? The actual speed. So if I say duplex, question mark, I could change it to half. Half means I cannot send and receive at the same time. Full, I could send and receive at the same time. It's always to leave it as it is, which is auto. I could also change the speed to whatever. If it's 10, I want it to operate at 10. Do I want to operate at 100 megabits? Do I want to operate at a gigabit, which is 1,000 megabits? Auto is the best. But as you see, you could change all these, configuration from the interface itself. So again, when I do show IP interface, brief, I could see status is up and protocol's up. What is the difference in status and protocol? Watch this. Let me go ahead and remove the cable. The cable's gone. All right. Okay. So right now, look what it says. It's down. I hit the up arrow. Look what it tells me. The status is up, but the protocol's down. So the protocol's actual cable status because I did not shut. So if I go back and put the cable, right? Let me just get a cable, which is a straight through cable, which connects these similar devices from my gigabit 01 to my gigabit 00, and fast forward. And now I go back, I will see a message that it went up and running again. And if I look at this, now it's up. But look, the method says manual. WR, just in case we made changes, and restart the router. I could do a reload from here, or I could have went to physical and I could have turned off and turned on from here, just to let you know. See that? So let's give it a few seconds. So you can see the status when I do show IP interface brief. You will see right now is going to say, oh, this is actually in the NVRAM. So I did not lose any configuration. Here's the password. And when I do show IP interface brief, it says NVRAM. Status is up, protocol is up, as you see. That's how you configure an interface. And I just chose a random private C network internally, right? And I always have to do a no shut command. I like to put a description, describe the interface. Where is it connecting? No shut. I don't need to change the speed or the duplex, but all that can actually be done. That's it for this lecture. We'll continue our interesting journey in our next lecture. Bye now.